Back to the starting lineup with Scott Purrier, Ned Reynolds, and Art Haynes on your home for the St. Louis Cardinals. 102.1 The One.
And the starting lineup is brought to you by Play It Again Sports, Swing Right Golf, Marshfield Chevrolet, and Citizens Bank at Rogersville. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Purrier
and Art Haynes.
And our special guest, as the microphone, as always, on Tuesday mornings, 8:30 now. We're talking auto racing with Racing Dirt's Trenton Berry. T-Bear. Good morning, T-Bear.
Hey, good morning, guys. Glad to be with you. How's everybody?
Absolutely. We're doing great. Yeah, we watched another fun Tyler Reddick show on Sunday, and the only racer ever to win the first 3 races in NASCAR. How unbelievable is this?
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, first off, I got to clean up something from last week. I said Denny Hamlin did it in 2019, won the first 2. I actually misspoke there. I didn't mean to. Matt Kenseth was the last one in 2009 that had done that. So it had been a little bit longer. So I just want to make good on that. But this has been an unbelievable start for Tyler Reddick. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think most people probably would agree that Tyler would have been in the upper tier, probably of NASCAR racers. And everybody knew that Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin were building a team that could get the job done. But to think that he comes out and wins the first 3, I mean, that's unfathomable for sure.
And T-Bear, this was a road race course where Shane van Gisbergen dominated last year, and he was second, a close second in this race.
Yep.
Still, from that standpoint, what does that tell you about Reddick?
Yeah, well, he's dialed in there. So this obviously it's kind of a 2-part deal. So Van Gisbergen had won the last 5 road races, but the one that he didn't win last year was at Circuit of the Americas, which is where they were at in Austin, Texas. On Sunday, and Tyler Reddick had won there before, back in 2000. I had it right here in front of me. 2023 was when Tyler Reddick had won there before. So he had won there in the past. But I really thought going into this, I'm like, okay, this is where the streak ends. Saturday evening, I was kind of thinking about the Cup race that was forthcoming on Sunday, and Van Gisbergen, he won the O'Reilly Series, which is the new name for the second tier NASCAR series. He won that race, so I thought, all right, he's dialed in. He'll be ready to go. The cars are way different. The competition's different, but I thought he'll have this one. He'll be set on kill and ready to roll. And he was. He was really good. I mean, he was the runner-up, but they came down to about 10 laps to go, and he really put the heat on Tyler Reddick. I mean, he was all over the back of him, and those last 7-8 laps, I mean, Reddick just rolled away. And I kind of thought coming right there to the end, they might have a caution late. Carson Hocevar got in the wall in the front stretch, but they're so spread out on that racetrack that they were able to stay green, and Reddick was able to bring it home. And man, guys, he won that thing going away. I mean, if we're talking terms of basketball games, I'll put it in this terms. What Tyler Reddick did in those last 10 laps was, I mean, he turbo clocked the competition, and it was phenomenal to watch it. And it was precision, it was execution, it was completely different racing than he had done the first 2 weeks. I mean, the first 2 weeks are pretty similar. So you think, okay, guy's had a little luck, he's got his mojo rolling, the car's good, everything's jiving well. Let's see what they can do when they go to a road course, which is a complete 180. So team's on fire right now.
Trenton, what is it about Tyler's team that is creating this separation?
Well, so, I mean, the cars are all basically the same. This new car is basically purchased through NASCAR, so the teams don't even really get to work on the actual structure of the race car anymore. If you knock a front off, you knock the back of the car off, I mean, those come directly from NASCAR, and they're mandated that way. So a lot of the ingenuity that used to be in these Cup cars is gone now. And so, it makes the margins that much tighter. It's finding the right balance. So it's on the race car side. It is finding the most traction without giving up speed. I mean, so, your shocks and springs and everything that's up underneath that thing has to be absolutely perfect. And it has to be even better on a racetrack like this, because you're turning left and right on a road course. The braking has to be on point. There's so much that goes into how you enter the corner, how you get through the center of the corner, and how you get off the corner. And more times than not, depending on where you want to excel in that series of events, you have to give up somewhere to gain somewhere else. And so the other part of it too, and this is a good racing term, you guys will like this. When guys are doing all they can do and they're having a hard time keeping the race car underneath them, one of the common racing phrases is, well, that guy just, if they run in the corner and mess up, well, they had a helmet fire. So he had to avoid for 3 hours. For 3 hours, he had to not go have a helmet fire, and he did it. And so, it's a myriad of things. Here's the beautiful part about competition is nobody's going to come out and tell you. There's a group of engineers that are working on that race car. It's gone so far past bringing your buddies to the racetrack. I mean, this is high precision, skilled team sports that these guys are doing with just millions and millions of dollars poured into this team, with the smartest minds in the automotive industry in this country are working behind the scenes for these teams. And so they're never, especially in the moment, sometimes you can find out later, but they're never going to give up just what exactly that difference maker is. But I'm telling you guys, to win 3 in a row, they've hit on something. And maybe it's, maybe they're just figuring out how to get just a little bit more out of that engine than somebody else. That could very well be what the missing piece is too. So it's really hard to put your finger on it. Hey, I just say it's MJ, baby. Come on. I love it. I love it.
Potential new segment here. Purrier is a NASCAR moron, brought to you by Travis Bell Home Loans, TravisBellHomeLoans.com. My questions are, why are some drivers better at road courses versus just going around in circles? And how long have road courses been around on NASCAR?
Well, okay, so I can't give you the exact date of the road courses in NASCAR, but I can tell you for as long as I have watched NASCAR, they have raced at Watkins Glen in New York, and they've raced at what used to be called Sears Point, but it's Sonoma, California, out in wine country. They've ran those 2 racetracks. Back in the late 90s, they did a limited run in Japan. They raced in Japan a little bit on a road course. So I don't have the exact date, and the reason as to why some guys are better at it than others is because for the majority of those Cup racers, this is not natural for them. This is not what they grew up doing. Most of them started out racing in dirt, in circles, in small cars. They call them quarter midgets, go-karts, things like that. So standing on the gas, turning left, figuring out how to keep your car underneath you is what's natural to them. Van Gisbergen was different because he was a V8 supercar racer from abroad, and so that was his orientation into racing. Now, he was a dirt sprint car racer as well in New Zealand, but he really became famous by being one of the best V8 supercar racers in the world. And by that, I'm talking about highly modified Corvettes and BMWs, and there's a Australian supercar series that exists that he excelled at before he came and did what he's doing right now in Cup racing. So the easiest thing I can tell you to just simplify it the most is it's unnatural to the majority of the field.
T-Bear, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they took 2 of the NASCAR existing tracks and put road racers in, like Indy 500. I think or Indianapolis Motor Speedway, they changed that just a little bit. And Charlotte, they had the Roval down in Charlotte.
Yes, they did. And so, hey, they made a good decision this year. They tried that Roval, and it still exists. And Daytona also has one that they've kind of cut out in the infield over the years. They run that Rolex 24 at Daytona right before the Cup season starts there. And I believe Indianapolis has one sort of cut out in the infield too. Now, the fall race at Charlotte had been in the Roval the past few years, and they decided to go away from that in favor of just the standard 1.5 mile track this year for the fall race. So there is something different though as far as road racing though. They are going to go to San Diego on Coronado Beach as part of the 250th year celebration of the country this summer. And I don't know, I think Chicago street race, I think they went 3 or 4 years with that, and it was pretty cool, but it was kind of time to move on. So we'll see how long they decide to go with the one here in San Diego. Maybe it's 1 year, maybe it's multiple years, but that could be a pretty neat race on the street. But they have limited the road races this year. So it was what we had Sunday, Watkins Glen, Sonoma, and then the one in San Diego. We're not going back to Mexico City. We were there last year too. That was where Van Gisbergen, he put the biggest butt whooping on the entire field. The race they had in Mexico last year.
Only segment, by the way, you're going to hear biggest butt whooping is during the NASCAR. Yeah.
That's right. So,
Trenton, where are they this week? And has anybody ever won 4 in a row?
So they have won 4 in a row. So there has been 10 times that drivers have won 4 in a row. It's been a long time. Jimmy Johnson was the last one to do it in 2007. Actually, now let's go way back here, and you guys will figure this one out. So there was one time that a driver won 10 NASCAR races in a row. It is not in this current era of racing. It was in 1967, and I can see Ned Reynolds knows who it is.
I'm guessing right now it would have been either Bobby Allison or maybe Fireball Roberts or somebody like that.
Richard Petty.
It was
Richard
Petty
did
okay.
it.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and then in 71, Petty won 5 in a row. Bobby Allison won 5 in a row in 71 as well. And from there, it's 4 wins on down. There have been 18 3-time winners, 10 4-time winners, 2 5-time winners, and Petty in 67 won 10 races in a row.
The king.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Trent, I'm actually considering, because my wife's got an event that takes her out of town the weekend of the Kansas City race in April, the Advent Health 400. I'm actually thinking about going up as a fan and watching my first NASCAR race in person. I've looked at tickets. I've looked at tickets online. Where should somebody sit if they're considering that? What's the best advantage?
So what you want to do, and racing's different than, you'd think if you go to basketball, baseball, football game, you want to be down. The more valuable tickets are back away because, you got to think about, you've got a 1.5 mile racetrack there. So I would look somewhere around the start finish line, start at the top and work your way down and see, they sell a lot of season tickets. Kansas City's still very popular. Man, if you want to do that, I would love to take you. I'd love to take you to your first NASCAR race. I don't know that I can make that weekend work. I'm going to look at my schedule.
Yeah,
though.
Look at it, because it'd be like Tom Cruise taking Rain Man down to the casino, basically, would it be amount to.
Oh, it'd be great.
You'd want headphones.
I'll tell you guys, too, I love Kansas Speedway. I equally love Texas Motor Speedway and what they've done there. And I do a little bit of work with that group that actually manages that facility there at Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, and have had some awesome experiences there in the past too. So, but yeah, you want to try to get up towards the top. If I were you, Scotty P, I'd get with me after the show here, and we could probably get you in on some kind of
okay. We could talk
you
about
go hang
that.
out in the media center.
Yeah, that'd be good. Is there food?
Oh yeah, there's tons of food.
All right, I'm in.
Tons of food.
Yeah.
Tons of they do a lot of press conferences. The drivers meeting, they do it in the media center as well. And you walk right out the back door of the media center there in Kansas City, and you're right in Victory Lane.
Oh
so
yeah, let's see if it'll work. I like that idea.
It's cool, man.
Hey, before we let you go,
great job.
You said something before we came on that this week's Phoenix starts 4 real tracks upcoming for NASCAR events. What is your definition? What makes a really good track and a really good race for fans to tune in?
Well, so we're just in these homegrown racetracks, the places that people have come to know and love, that the guys have raced for years and years. And I say 4 because that just gets us through the month of March, but they're going to take a week off and then go to Bristol the 1st of April. So really it's more than 4 in a row, but 4 before the break here. And I think this is going to tell us early on the guys that are really fast. I mean, I hate to say that these 3 so far have been gimmick races, because they're not gimmick races. They're part of the schedule and everything matters. But we had 2 drafting tracks and we had a road course. So we're going to Phoenix, which is 1.5 miles, going to Vegas, 1.5 miles, Darlington, which is just a shade underneath that, but that's one of the most tried and true racetracks in America. And then they're going to Martinsville in Virginia, which is a paperclip half-mile racetrack. So places that teams and racers just have years and years of knowledge about that. I think this next month's going to go a long way to telling us who's going to be fast through the summer, for sure.
Trenton, are there times during the year, and these are off times, when these racers might be appearing at dirt track races?
Yeah, there are, for sure. And so what you always have to look at is you can cross-reference a couple of the schedules, the World of Outlaw sprint car schedule and the High Limit sprint car schedule. And the High Limit series is co-owned by Kyle Larson. Mm-hmm. And so that's the series right now. So the race in Kansas City, they've got a High Limit sprint car race at Lakeside Speedway, which is 5 minutes up the road. So if you really want to get a chance to see these guys kind of in their element and where they're worried about racing, but it's more, they're not so much worried about all the other obligations, and they're a little more approachable, would be at the dirt track. But I will tell you, since that early 2000s and kind of the peak rise of the prima donna racers, the majority of these guys that are winning and really doing well now, like, there's been a whole paradigm shift in how they treat their fans and treat people. And I'm telling you guys, I know Kyle Larson a little bit, and I promise you I'm not name dropping, but I've interviewed him several times, worked a lot of races for television that he has been out on the dirt side. And He is the best pound-for-pound race car driver in this country right now, and he is also one of the very most approachable professional athletes. Like, for the people that are listening right now that go, yeah, hey, great, how good is this guy? Well, he's the Patrick Mahomes of racing. So that's what you really need to know. And I'm telling you, he is as down to earth and normal and good with his fans as you can ever expect anybody to be. And it's going to take that, because we're talking about this rehabilitation of NASCAR to get it back where it once was, and they're making huge strides. But it has to take those racers doing that as well. You can't have the days anymore where the guys go sit in the tents and sign the autographs and they won't talk to the fans and they act like they're on death's doorstep to be there. Like that stuff has to go away. And I think for the most part it probably has.
And Larson won the Cup.
He did.
Yeah, twice. Won it twice. Yeah.
Did Larson go? Did Larson go 6-11 last year?
Did Larson go 6? No, he did not go 6.
I'm sorry, that was a cheap shot, wasn't it?
It was a cheap shot.
No, actually,
the cheap shot. Yes.
I don't want to pile on my team, but actually, when he had to get it done, he got it done. Actually, in the last race. So,
hey, when I watch these things now, I want to root for Johnny's car, being Bass Pro and local. Who am I rooting for? Who am I rooting for there?
Yeah. So you're going to root for Chase Briscoe and Austin Dillon. And sometimes I don't know that it's full season sponsorships on either of those race cars, but those are the two main guys. And so the one's owned by Richard Childress, which is Austin's granddad, and then Chase Briscoe's is owned by Joe Gibbs. So, hey, man, you could never go wrong rooting for Briscoe and Joe Gibbs. And both those guys, too, I'm going to throw this shameless plug in there. Both those guys are dirt racers too. So you're picking a couple of great ones to cheer for, along with one of the best partners the sport's ever had.
Before we let you go, are there any villains out there now that people just can learn to hate or not?
Well, so there's a few villains out there. Ross Chastain, he drives the Busch Light car. Ross Chastain's a little bit of a villain. Bubba Wallace, a little bit of a villain. Bubba will go run into you, smash you up into the wall, and kind of tell you to get over it. So, there's a few villains out there, and Bubba plays that villain real well, and so does Ross Chastain. They call Ross Chastain. So he grew up on a watermelon farm in Florida. So when Ross Chastain wins races, he smashes watermelons in victory lane.
That's great.
And I'm telling you, he rode the wall a couple of years ago. Scott, go to YouTube later today and look at the wall riding. They called it the Hail Melon, and he was able to get himself through the playoff round a couple of years ago at Martinsville. And Ross Chastain he's one of the most despised drivers in the pits. Yeah, but hey, it takes all kinds, and I love every single one of them and all their personalities, and that's the stuff that keeps people interested.
Well, Trenton, try not to have a helmet fire the rest of the day, okay?
That's right. I love that. I'm gonna try to give you guys some sort of new racing phrase every week when I'm on with you. I've got a million of them, so we'll see how it works. Great.
Yeah, I'm prone to helmet fires. I appreciate that. So hey, we'll talk to you next week.
Somebody cut you off on Battlefield later today. Don't have a helmet fire.
Oh, you bet. Thanks, Trenton. We appreciate it.
You guys.
You bet.
Trenton Berry visiting with us. We'll take a timeout on the starting lineup. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Starting Lineup with Scott Purrier, Ned Reynolds, and Art Haynes on 102.1 The One.